Hello and welcome. My name is Robert Merdlacci of the MindShare Workspace and our podcast series here, Getting Real with AI. I'm pleased to be your host, and today's theme is how to get organized and prepare when the rules keep changing. I'm honored to host our special member guest, Sunil Sheoran, who is the president and founder of Clariem. Uh, Thank you for joining me today, Sunil. Happy Friday.
Thank you, Robert.
Perhaps you
Always.
can give us a little bit on your career trajectory. I know you're a management consultant, master's in engineering, PhD. You're a busy, smart man and focused on pharma. And perhaps you can talk to us a little bit about what the inspiration was, what's your why, and now you're pivoting. Growth mindset, of course. And today's focus on this episode is AI is changing the rules of work quickly. Value doesn't change, but how do you organize yourself to deliver is a must. This episode will help listeners cut through the noise and the clutter, anchor in value, and build systems for continuous improvement, which you are a master at.
Well, thank you, Robert. Thank you for the kind introduction and being such a great host and organizer of our community here. So, really
Pleasure.
appreciate it. And all the conversations that we get to have either on camera or off camera here in the community, they're super precious. It's amazing to see so many different backgrounds coming together as AI is changing the rules of the game, as you mentioned. And to give you a little bit of my background, or I mean, you know it too, for the audience. Essentially, I'm a management consultant, work for the large standard companies, Accenture, Bearing Point, KPMG, and then in 2009, I went independent. And all my career, I have always worked with large enterprises where stakes are high, always working with smart people, many times smarter than me, or most of the time smarter than me. So that always keeps you on your toes. Um, and in last year or so, I've been going down this rabbit hole of AI. Uh, in a way, we are all kind of pushed when end of 2022 when ChatGPT came, and when you see the pace of change, the rules of the game, as you said, are being rewritten. It is not simply about productivity. I mean, if as in our last conversation we talked, if AI does the work for uh, let us say 2 times or 3 times faster, then we are free with 2 or 3 times of our time. What are we going to do with that time? So idea is one of my main thought is forget about dabbling with
Mhm.
AI. We got to get real with it. It's not something that's coming out in the future. It's not something just a toy or in pilots. We need to really think about it. And as we talked last time, uh, certain things change and some things never change. And I say things that never change is the value that you add to somebody, and you get paid for the value you deliver. Everybody needs to
100%.
everybody is fits in a role. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to know your client profile, ideal client profile. If you are an employee, then you need to know what's your money platform, where you're gonna bring the money and put food on the table. Uh, so that value adding mindset never changes. So that's my first main thought.
Fascinating. Fascinating. It's fascinating times. Careers and it's history repeats itself in many ways. And
Mhm.
you know, the first industrial revolution, we saw mass adoption in the industry, right? Moving from the farm agriculture based system to industrial. And, fast forward to today, Dr. Hinton, Professor Emeritus at the University of Toronto, the pioneer of AI, coincidentally, where we're hosting our at Tech Summit later this month at the University of Toronto, Mississauga, talks about this moment in time. being the
Mhm.
truly the second industrial revolution.
Mhm.
And so beyond the internet,
Mhm.
beyond computers, because this is redefining how we work, live, learn, and communicate. And it's just unprecedented times. So
Absolutely.
um, it's a little daunting, but also
Mhm.
opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm a I'm a half glass full kind of guy, and um, and perhaps that was part of my upbringing as a first generation Canadian, right?
Mhm.
We it wasn't easy, right? It wasn't
Absolutely.
easy. So uh, let's talk about the overall lens and how to see the overall AI evolution in this episode, and how we discuss how professionals can prepare themselves for this big game changing moment.
Mhm.
And uh, last time you said the concepts of value doesn't change. Can you perhaps expand on when rules are shifting so fast?
Yeah. So you said it right. I mean, we can think from the macro perspective of how the big changes have happened from agriculture to manufacturing era and the information age, and now we can call it digital age if you want to call. Uh, so, in a way, for an intellectual mind, it's a gold mine of analysis. You can keep thinking and doing in all different levels. Uh, so as we last time also we talked, we need to think both top down and bottom up. Top down is
Hmm.
this macro to micro approach, and bottom up is wherever you are sitting, from that place, how do you see the world? So from where I'm sitting, I see it as an entrepreneur or somebody who is trying to build your own business, and at a professional, all of us are knowledge professionals. So in the knowledge industry, how do you be effective professional? So the point we said is the value does not change. To me, the way I think of it, that even if AI comes in whatever way, I can stay sustainable by focusing on my ICP, ideal client profile. So if I have a particular profile or persona who I'm trying to serve, their needs are going to keep changing. I can keep refining my offerings and my way of adding value. AI gives me new so that's how I stabilize my mind. At the same time, if you're an employee, again, you need to think in terms of the platform, or let us say you're in logistics, or you are in pharma, or you are in ed tech. I mean, that industry is not going away in a day. Obviously, I hope that you pick the right industry, but once you have your platform, you need to make sure that you find creative ways to use AI. So that's why I said the concept of value does change if you're clear about your money platform as an employee or as your ideal client or persona. Then as their needs evolve, you can evolve with them. That's how I stabilize the idea of value.
Fascinating. So people are overwhelmed by AI. I'm overwhelmed some days. I
Yeah.
I ask AI. I ask AI. My go-to tool for
Yeah.
everyone's interest is ChatGPT, which is the most dominant.
Yeah.
I saw this infographic. Billions. It's like 8 billion inquiries a month,
Yeah.
and the next one down is by far
Mhm.
smaller. Like it's totally dominant right now. And by the way, the ones that start dominant aren't
Always.
aren't the ones who continue to be dominant because hey, what was your first browser that you used,
Yeah.
right?
Netscape. Yeah. Yeah. I remember
For
that.
that
95. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was just going to mention Netscape. It's not Netscape today, but
Yeah.
they were the first dominant players. So, growth mindset, innovative mindset is absolutely paramount. Talk to me about where should they start if they haven't.
E-
When they,
Excellent point. Excellent point, Robert. See, we are overwhelmed partly because the world is changing, and partly we are not organized in our own minds as well. This phone we have with us, this kind of keeps us distracted. So let us say we want to get organized. We just don't want to dabble. We want to get real with it. So if you want to get real, you want to get your fundamentals right. So if the basics is right now it's a chat box instead of the search engine on Google, you go out and
Right.
chat GPT and you start asking it. So the first level that you want to get right is uh, you want to ask the right questions. So that's the
Hmm.
most basic thing is you need to know the essentials or foundations of prompting. You can't just ask random question, give me a business plan. You need to know at least the very basics of prompting, which is essentially that
Hmm.
what role you want the ChatGPT to play or any other AI engine, what's the objective you have, what are the constraints within which it should operate, what's the final deliverable you want, what should be the format of it, what inputs you should give, what's the definition of done. So some basic structure of prompting is your step one that you need to get your mind. Now that prompting even sits on the basis of how you have set up the profile there. So another thing you need to know is you need to set the system appropriately in the sense in your preferences, be it Claude or ChatGPT. You need to tell the system who you are, so that the system knows how to respond. If you say you are a founder, start a new company, that's a different profile as opposed to you are an executive or you are an artist and whatnot. Once you have got these two basics right, then you can start going to next level a little bit, saying, okay, now I get some generic answers. I got to build my custom GPTs on it, which is not too complicated. It's fairly simple actually. You just put your additional files and your instructions on certain things. But end of the day, it is about knowing your workflows and knowing your system, how you operate, and buying back your own time. So whatever saves you time, and for that you need to identify what are the top places you can save time.
Fascinating. And kudos to you for upskilling, because I've seen you in the last several months laser focused,
Thank
multiple books. I think you probably have over 30 books that you've absorbed on AI, which is beyond what I've read in my life, probably.
you. Appreciate it.
I wasn't a voracious reader like my wife and kids, but I learned through osmosis and social
I hear
learning,
you.
right? But so here we are. You've upskilled, growth mindset, so vital to maintain that. How have you managed to sustain and maintain? Like, we're 25 years of MindShare this coming year. So
Mhm.
it's paramount if I'm publishing the magazine on the future of work and learning that I need to embrace growth mindset. How important is that? And how do people sustain progress once they start, as you have?
So yeah, no, thank you. That's a very good point. So previously, when we didn't have too many distractions, it was kind of not that big of a problem. Now, with the phones and distractions all the time, I believe everybody needs to have their personal productivity system. And as an example, I mean, everybody should consider their mornings kind of sacred, and you kind of turn off everything and work on that stuff. You need to have discipline of uh, knowing what really matters in your execution horizon and operating horizon. Execution horizon meaning next 6 to 8 weeks kind of thing. Operating horizon is where your line of sight is 6 to 8 months, where your business is going to go, or where your situation, you can see how far uh, until the bend of the river in a way. So with that, you need to know your effort versus the value you're going to get, that equation. How much effort you put on which one so that the needle moves every week. So my anchor is essentially week. I don't measure my productivity every day, kind of thing. I say that every week, I mean, I count everything in weeks. So as long as I'm making weekly progress and I'm minimizing the
Right.
leakage of my past investment, I guess that's the way to keep going. Another concept that I can add with it, Robert, is the idea of continuous improvement. Human mind, as Einstein said, the concept of compound interest is not easy to comprehend for us. So, as they say, if you improve 1% every day, people can't imagine that in a year you will be 37.8 or like about 38 times better. In 1 month, you'll be 35 or more than 30%, about 30% better. In probably 2 months, you'll be about double or 85% or 82% or something. And in about 3 months, uh, you'll be 2.5 times better than where you are today. So if we keep improving every day, that means you don't do the leakage on whatever you have invested previously and don't let it go wasted. uh, Very soon you get the taste of how things are becoming better. To my kids, I usually say 3 weeks to 3 months. Whatever you pick on, work
Right.
on something for 3 weeks. If you can't work on 3 weeks, try for 3 days. So if you can't do for 3 days, at least do it for a day or two. So you gotta give it a go for 3 days to 3 weeks to 3 months, and then you will see the results. I guess that's a little bit a long
Amazing.
point. Yeah.
I love your positivity.
Mhm.
How important is it to embrace that notion too when you're in business to um, when you're trying to sell, if you will, selling the dream, as Guy Kawasaki wrote the book when he was at Apple.
Mhm.
And I actually had an opportunity to interview him on the podcast. And such an inspiring individual who really truly embraced the growth mindset. But how important is the notion of positivity to uh, build momentum and build your brand, right? And then ultimately, at the end of the day, um, you know, you are driving the bus. You are as an entrepreneur. It's not an easy work.
Mhm.
It's not as though every day is peaches and cream. Sometimes you got to do the finer detailed stuff around financial planning and counting and
Yeah.
dealing with not so fun stuff. But talk to me and reflect for our listeners. You're a deep thinker. What's one reflection for our listeners this week that they can take with them into the weekend to
Yeah.
challenge their thinking?
Thank you, Robert. That's a very insightful thing. I mean, most of the people who are entrepreneurs or people who take charge, they do have positive thinking. Uh, at the same time, I think of positive thinking in two flavors. One is the feeling that you want to feel good.
Right.
Another thing is, I feel that you empower yourself with the right skills. So to me, I focus more on that. So one thing is, yeah, you feel good, that's fine. But if you put 3 days, 3 weeks on certain thing, on certain topic, then you get the skill and confidence with it. With that, it is not just a positive feeling. You feel empowered that I can deal with anything that comes my way because I have spent 3 weeks or enough amount of time to deal with it. I have upgraded myself. So with that thing, if we just to kind of round it with the thing we mentioned, if you don't lose sight from what the
Right.
value is, you get your basics right on leveraging all the tools and the system of AI, and then you keep your eyes on the priorities. What are the biggest use cases? And then this idea of continuous improvement, with a beautiful way you put it, being positive. But I'm saying be positive not just in thoughts, but positive because you have practiced it, so you'll perform better. That would be my main thought.
Uh, Sunil Sheoran, grateful for your time today. Love this new series that we have going here at the MindShare Workspace as part of the Canadian Coworker podcast series, Getting Real with AI, that is co-hosted with Sunil Sheoran. Um, I'm your host, Robert Merdlacci. Be sure to check out www.mindshare Workspace to learn more about co-working and the future of work and learning that we embrace here at the Mindshare Workspace in the great city of Mississauga in Erin Mills Town Center. We are in a shopping mall, and come and learn why we are here. And love having you here, Sunil. Have a great weekend, all. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the learning curve steep.
Thank you, Robert. Bye now.